Hi everyone, and welcome to my review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3. Yes. So, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, it's from 1990, it's from the US, it's directed by Jeff Burr, it's written by David J. Show, with characters created by Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel. So it's starring Kate Hodge, Ken Foree, R.A. Mihailov, William Butler, Viggo Mortensen, and Joe Unger, among a lot of people. So in this one, we have a couple who are on the way to Florida. We see them fighting all the time, and they're trying to find the right way or the fastest way to get there. But they get a flat tire, and yeah, things kind of spiral up from there. And ultimately, they meet Leatherface and his family. Yes. And also, besides these two main characters, we also have a survivalist character, kind of, played by Ken Foree. Yes. And I have to say, the best part of this movie is definitely Ken Foree. His character he kind of draws you in. It's interesting. He does things, and you really want to follow, what happens to him. But unfortunately, the main characters, the two main characters are not that interesting, and that is one of the movie's kind of downfall. Because I was finding myself rather watching Ken Foree's character than kind of these two. And also, the tone of this movie is a bit confusing. We had the first one, which is very serious. It's, very clear. The second one has a lot of dark humor. It's meant to, be a satire, be a funny kind of horror film. But this one, it kind of mixes those two together. So it is a bit funny in places, and then it's supposed to be serious. But they have mixed these two together, so it is a very confusing mess of a tone, so to speak. It is very hard to know which direction they were going for, actually. But I do have to say, I do love the gore. They really tried to amp up all the gore and make it as bloody and gory as they could. And I have the uncensored version. I have two versions on this. So of course I watched the uncensored one. And yeah, I do like a lot of the SFX work. I think that was pretty creative. Especially when you get to see the whole family. And we have a young Viggo Mortensen in this also. And he delivers a really solid performance. It was a good performance by him. So I'm really happy they had him in this movie. So Ken Foree and Viggo are, the two really saving characters in this movie. I mean, Leatherface himself, I wasn't really that impressed with the way he looked. And I mean, he wasn't as, let's say, intriguing. Like in the first one, you're like, Leatherface, who was that? And in the second one, you got to know more of him. You got to see more layers. In this one, you're like, oh, okay, Leatherface kind of takes a step back. Not that interesting, but he still has a really huge chainsaw. At least that. But yeah, story-wise, not that interesting. I think they were trying to go for something more like along the first movie, but it just doesn't work as well. It isn't as effective, unfortunately. But it is fast-paced, though. It is quite short, and a lot of things, something happens all the time. So, I mean, the movie never gets boring. That is not a problem at all. The problem was the lack of good main characters, I think. And yeah, so here is my edition of it. Yeah, and also a lot of this film takes place in the dark or at night. Yeah, so some things were quite hard to see sometimes, unfortunately. I wish the lighting had been better in some places. But here you can see, this is a Polish edition. So it's Teksańska Masakra Piła Mechaniczna 3. And two versions, dwa wersje. So one censored and one without censor. Yes. And it's a one disc. I think this was super cheap back in the day. Do we have any? Okay, so the uncensored version is 82 minutes, and the censored version is 77 minutes. So, it has a differ of 5 minutes of gore. Yeah. But, yeah. I will give this one a 5 out of 10. So yeah, it really isn't up to par with the first or the second one at all. But is this the worst one? Or is there another Chainsaw Massacre that is even worse than this one? Because I mean, this isn't like awful or horrible. It was just lacking a lot of the vital things. It did have some, good things about it as well. But yeah, I think 5 out of 10 is a fair judgment of this movie. But please let me know your own thoughts about this movie if you've seen it or if you're planning on watching it. And how do you rank these movies so far? How do you rank 1, 2, 3? I would really like to know. Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you will have an amazing day, of course. Bye.